Calling the outreach Department of Mental Health for West, where these people aren't listed anywhere on the directory, so they're going to see what the fuck's going on here with this malil, Tate, and Oppenheimer and friends who keep showing up for LAWA.
Good afternoon, DMH, Secretary 5, Administration. How can I help you?
Hi, ma'am. My name is Aaron Fanning. I'm recording this. I'm having some severe issues with DMH. I have been getting approached at my home since December 4th without any warning, without any appointments, without any contact. Tried to start a grievance December 9th about this. I'm here in Venice, and I looked up, and I tried to look up, see, well, who are these outreach people that keep coming by? They've actually come with police officers and not LAPD. They've come with LA World Airports officers and can't identify them, won't identify them, said that they're LAPD. LAPD verified that they were not LAPD. So I have a man named Malil Tate engaged with my landlord, violating my fair housing rights and also, obviously, my patient's rights, and some Dr. Oppenheimer. These people...
Sir, I'm sorry. Hold on really quick, okay?
For sure. Thank you. Yeah, hi. Thank you so much.
Hi, sir. I'm gonna transfer you over to our program manager. Hold on, please, okay?
I do appreciate that.
No problem. Hold on. This is Jackie. How can I help you?
Hello, Jackie. My name is Aaron Fanning. This is being recorded because I'm having some seriously very, very dangerous engagements with Department of Mental Health for some reason.
Okay. You said Eric Fanning?
Aaron, A-R-E-N.
Oh, Aaron. Okay.
And last name is Fanning. F as in Frank, A-N-N-I-N-G.
Fanning. Okay.
What's going on here? I have a home in a secure building, apartment, Section 8 apartment. I don't know why I'm having people who are identifying themselves as homeless outreach continue to come to my home at the request of my landlord, who I am engaged with civil action with. This has been ongoing since December 4th. I've had Malil Tate and others repeatedly and endlessly coming to my door with no notice, refusing to make an appointment with me, arrangements, notify me that they're coming. They happen to have showed up at court on my landlord's behalf with 3 hours notice for an eviction hearing in open court, trying to declare that they're trying to engage me and contract me for programs, placements, and medications. I've never have any relationship with these people. I told them the first time they came, video recorded and documented every time they've come, and they keep engaging with my landlord. They're making access to my secure building by engaging and violating HIPAA, by telling my landlord. They've shown up at my home with police officers that Dr. Oppenheimer couldn't explain why. Even worse, it wasn't LAPD. It's LA World Airport officers who Malil Tate has now lied, said it was LAPD. LAPD has confirmed that was not LAPD officers at my door.
Hold on a second. Oh, okay. I'm gonna call. No, that's all right. I got rid of that person.
Sorry. And so, things...
Oppenheimer.
Yeah, Dr. Oppenheimer and Malil Tate. I've tried to have grievances taken care of and started from the day they came to my home, because I was willing to engage, because I was abandoned by St. Joseph's in July. And I filed grievances about that because they tried to put me on a 5150 hold when I was requesting help because I had been attacked in my apartment. And instead, they tried to put me on a 5150 hold. Didn't work out. I was returned back to my home in 12 hours, resulting me in getting successfully attacked a second time in September by the same other tenant. So I would have gladly engaged with them had they come to engage with me. I told them the first time on video, hey, I have standing grievances. And one of the named parties that they alleged has made some allegations against me is named as an employee of my landlord's corporation in the eviction where Malik Tate brought Oppenheimer to meet me for the first time, where in court they're declaring they're going to have me on medications. I grew up in Scientology. I don't do medications. I have been engaged with the Department of Mental Health on my own accord. I tried to assure that after I had the facial trauma in 2018, which is how I got engaged with St. Joseph's, because I'm in a full service partnership because I was starving to death. I had 9 months of facial reconstruction, and on GR and food stamps, I could not afford the liquid diet, so I lost over 20% of my body weight. I had been begging them from the get-go. I had to move from where I had lived for 9 years. I lived in Gardena. I lived 2 blocks away from South Bay Mental Health, where I had been seeing Peter Davidson on my own accord because I knew that, hey, I'm alone. I have no support. I'm trying to better myself as a human being. Nobody made me go. So Peter and I had this really respectful relationship, and I really wanted to continue that. But when I got attacked, because I was in Gardena and I'm white, oh, the cops figured I was there for dope, and they had closed out the case before I woke up in the ICU. And then I had the video of my face getting kicked in as I tried to save the cashier from getting harmed and locked him into the cashier's booth and suffered that injury. I have video of me getting my face stomped in 5 times, and I had to hold it for months. Not good for PTSD. Well, the officers
that's a lot of trauma.
and the officers told me that if I didn't move and I was still there, it was likely that the suspect was going to find me and harm me again. So I bounced. And I asked to make sure that my case history from Peter, because I have trauma, my face is wired shut, I can't talk, my jaw was in 5 pieces, I could not talk at all. I was asking that my case records from Peter Davidson got brought so I felt safe, so that my case history was there already. We don't have to start from scratch. And instead, what happens? Nope. Didn't do that. That was found by their own psychologist in November, and all kinds of hell breaks loose. And I've been filing grievances, trying to get to a safe location. Tate's acknowledged that I do not have a contract with the housing authority, yet somehow I've been in this apartment for a year now, after I started my first grievance. Yeah, because what St. Joseph's had done is they kept moving me in venues and like re-signing me up, but they had me in a hotel for 4 months, trying to demand that I take Venice Family Clinic as my primary care. I said, yo, I don't care, just my trauma claim needs to get addressed. I need to get back to trauma. They blew off ever contacting Harbor until my trauma claim completely closed out. I ended up in the hotel in Santa Monica with an abscess, and I ended up having to call the health department because in January, I was found with no heater, a 3-inch open sewer, and 89-degree water, with all of my stitches having grown into my face because they're so negligent, they just assumed that they were dissolvable stitches. So I ended up with wires in my mouth rotting out my teeth until April of last year. And all I know is I've been trying to make grievances and make sure that I was put in a proper place. I went to HACLA originally like in July, found out that my contracts were all bad, that what they had presented me was already voided out weeks before they presented it to me. That I don't have a contract, that my records weren't straight over there. They gave me proof that I had been already overcharged on my rent and utilities to assure that I was financially in a hardship. And so I'm now dealing with Malik Tate and Oppenheimer playing games, and since December, Malik's had copies of mad videos of me getting assaulted, threatened. First time he was here, I get threatened by another tenant in front of him as he goes back to my landlord. This needs to stop. He's misrepresented himself in court, saying that I'm homeless. Why is he representing things like that to a judge, claiming that I am homeless, that another outreach group has referred me off, and that I need to have conservatorship in the middle of a civil action that I've been in since October with my landlord that has Sufjan, the other St. Joseph's worker, listed as an employee of my landlord. Not only that, I have a criminal case that's been ongoing also. My landlord's involved. I don't need my competency challenged by fraudulent reporting. My grievance originally filed was like, hey man, I get it, that's cool, I kind of want some access and advocacy. Can you please make sure that you get my contracts and my grievance so that we have an equitable, ethical introduction? Because my job is not to answer to some random person made a hearsay allegation, because the cops wasn't involved. He keeps involving cops from outside of this jurisdiction that have no business at my door. But yeah, I'm very concerned. I wanted advocacy, yeah. I really wanted help, and I really wanted someone to help me to make sure that I got into my cognitive behavioral therapy. Because to be honest, when St. Joseph's got me this magic apartment without me ever even filing for a voucher, I can document that the city of Santa Monica was terrified of my very civil reporting and documentation of what was going on. And the day that they asked me to come over here with no notice to sign this contract and pay my rent is the day that Santa Monica goes, oh, we're denying your claim. By the way, you have an apartment with Venice Community Housing. I was like, all right. I told them from before, though, they kept trying to tell me about housing. I said, I don't really want housing. I don't feel comfortable with it. I don't deserve it. And what I mean by that is, frankly, I'm not that far gone. What I mean by that is there are people, elderly and disabled people, worse off than me. At least I'm this cognate. Understand, I've been doing this since July of last year trying to report and get advocacy. So what about all the other people here that can't get it? You understand what I mean? And so like, I didn't want housing. My thing was, I was like, look, it doesn't help me out. It makes me feel like more of a burden on society. The only reason I took this was I was informed that this was a program to help me to scale back into being a contributing member of society with advocacy and support and in a safe, habitable environment. This place has been tagged since September for it being not habitable. My unit had someone die in it May 5th of 2018 in an arson. He tried to hang himself out the window months before, and another tenant and a neighbor down the street cut him down from the street side, and it was never addressed properly, and so he was put back in this unit. 3 other people successfully died of suicide in the 2 years before I got this unit. There's only 13 apartments in this building. It's not okay.
Aaron, is this a Venice Community Housing building, or what is it? Project-based?
It's a Venice Community Housing building, and I have actually, in November, I have email exchanges between Carol Sobel, the big civil rights attorney, because she's a board member, with another member of the public here telling her that he's witnessing videos of me getting assaulted and threatened and everything else. I didn't really know that those public people that had approached me and asked me for interviews and introduced themselves as reporters. Oh, well, I didn't know that that's the vice president of the neighborhood council. I didn't know that these are elected officials that were trying to tell me that they're reporters, trying to ask me if I have copies of the contracts, which I do. Because my contracts, what they prove is that Stacy Burmaster signs as a director of St. Joseph's and fulfills VCH credentials for the funding for programs. And in the eviction, she's the director of Venice Community Housing. And Sufjan is also an employee of Venice Community Housing. The dual conflicting roles, I have no advocacy, no one here does. It's really dangerous. I don't want to die, I don't want to vanish, and I don't want false cases, criminal cases, because I can document since, again, August of last year, Hakla was promising to get me videos of having a gun pulled on me at the back door, and the first time that I got assaulted. What's really nasty is I get a letter from one of the managers there, an email, oh, don't send us any more. We're going to handle your complaint shortly. Please don't send any more communications. No more is needed. I was like, okay. Well, what ends up happening at that same date, because she ends up, after I get attacked the second time, suddenly she's not in that department, neither is my worker. I have no worker assigned to me at all on records there. What ends up happening? Oh, well, I get attacked the second time, and then I'm told to talk to Lula Excander. I've been trying to contact them. What ends up happening that August date? Oh, the weird neighbor that pulled the gun on me at the rear door? The dude that stalks me endlessly and they've allowed have his dog bite me in our parking lot. LAPD asked that they have a trespass arrest authorization put out. That I have a restraining order. I can't use the dumpsters on our property. This restraining order was from July. So in August 27th or 22nd, suddenly LAWA officers using LAPD credentials start racking up cases. I have over 70 criminal charges for breach of restraining order, and I don't leave my apartment. Legit. So this eviction, the reason this eviction went on so long, what they hoped to accomplish was this criminal case. They thought I was going to get bagged. And so they keep getting extensions and extensions because the eviction, that's another, classified records thing. Well, the eviction, they don't mention that I'm in programs or housing. And somehow Malik Tate shows up at a 1:30 hearing that was only organized at 10:30 with Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer trying to hand me a handwritten contract to sign on the spot. They're telling him that they have a treatment plan for me that includes placement, drugging, and programs. Excuse me, I'm in a normal apartment eviction. What is going on? Can I please have some patient's rights? Like literally, I wanted to engage with them, but it was clear at no point did he have any interest in helping me. He was fully and has continued. Literally, the video of him here just yesterday, right? He's acknowledging that he's violated my HIPAA. He's refusing to disclose who keeps letting you into my secure building. Because the door that he bangs on without any warning, that's the one that got popped open twice and I got attacked from. That I can't get intervention. What's sicker is that July attack when I got attacked. I tried to call the cops from this building 8 times in 5.5 hours from 5:30 p.m. No response. And communications doesn't understand it because they keep saying cops are around the corner. So I finally told them that hey, I'm not feeling good. Let me try with my social services tomorrow. And I tried that on the 26th. And they asked me first thing in the morning, you sure you want to report? It could be misconstrued. I said, I don't care. You're not authorities, and that sounds awesome. Because then there's intervention. They don't call me back. 4 o'clock comes, I know I'm going to be trapped with this man for the weekend. So I decide on my own, call the police, man. I need to do something. Call them. They said they're sending cops. Suddenly there's cops here. I open the door. I'm like, cool, dope. They try to tackle me, almost knock me down the stairs, screaming about a weapon. I'm like, what's going on? Super compliant. They tell me they're putting me on a hold. I'm like, that's cool. Can we just take my police report from getting attacked? I don't care. I'm good with a hold. Sounds awesome. Get me the fuck away from here. Let me get to the proper authorities. This shit is whack. They were refusing. And then I called communications back while I'm sitting in the back of a cop car for an hour and a half, waiting for a private transportation for this hold. I tell communications what's going on. Communications yeah, this is weird and wrong. They called the watch commander to make sure that I had a report taken because, yeah, they saw the call log. There's a report taken. I have a copy of it. You run the numbers on the copy that I have, it reflects a report. The copy that I have is not the copy that's on file with LAPD. The copy that they have alleges that I chased someone down with a weapon, that this was witnessed by other people, and that case was investigated. Now, because my report was somehow vanished, yeah, I had no victims' rights, so I got attacked September 10th by the same dude, same meth head, spun out constantly. What ends up happening about that? Oh, this is at nighttime. Somehow Burnell Williams, the property manager, is right around the corner because they thought I was going to fight back. Nah. Responding officers are here. She gives them the wrong unit number for me and refuses to identify the suspect, and she's a landlord, claiming HIPAA. No videos of any of the violence, dope fiend abuse, nothing ever can come out. There is no records of any problems or transgressions on any of Venice Community Housing's properties. September, why they started getting real mad at me is I busted the illegal office that's a converted residential space in this building. Oh, that's the office that they used to defraud the city out of $14 million, saying that they figured out how to build rows without exasperating the problems in the community. Well, they also somehow converted our parking garage into a retail space, so we don't have a place to park safely, and that's why the dude across the street is violent with me. Not cool. Yeah, they're trying to get more housing now down the street in Lincoln, while my place, since September, has been cited as not habitable, barely creeping up to case management somehow. Somehow, they've managed to continue to have my public health department complaints closed out. I'm not safe. I don't give a fuck about what they're doing, anything. I'm not trying to bust these people. All I ever did was try to make sure that I was safe and heard, and things just kept falling apart because they're a bunch of frauds. That's not my fault. I would love to be away from here. I would love to be safe. I would love to have therapy and be able to engage with someone so that I can become a contributing member of society. And instead, me being here has done nothing but made me regress and put me at huge liabilities for no reason. Literally, if anybody makes an allegation against someone, he's trying to bring me to court. They haven't served me the paperwork. They tried to serve me paperwork on the 22nd of last month, or hand me paperwork on the 22nd of last month. Only a cover sheet, no allegations, and it said to go downtown. Then I get a call the next day telling me that, oh, the court's changed. And I said, nah, I'm good. You tell Oppenheimer to contact me. Have a conversation with her on 22nd. She tells me she's going to find out why was there a cop at my house, what's going on, and who originally made this referral. Never called me back. Keep contacting me back. Keeps getting worse. She knows, they know, there is no contractual relationship. Whoever's made the referral cannot provide any right to show that we have any relationship, and I can document we were in a civil case where he does not disclose his professional relationship with me from St. Joseph's by making allegations that I've threatened to cut other co-workers' throats at Venice Community Housing. I never did none of that. There's no police record of it because I don't do anything. Literally nothing. I stay in my home because I can't go out in the street without being at risk. The guy across the street, it's so bad, they've had to have staff remove him from the property. They won't disclose it. It's not okay that I've had guns pulled on me on this property, beg to get moved, get some accountability. What's going on here? And it just escalates. I really, you know what? You're awesome. This is, I apologize for the start of my communication. I have felt like I have fought. I have it recorded. Patients' rights is a fucking joke. They literally taunt you. They taunt you and joke with you if they're going to accept your grievance, if it's there or not. Then supervisors promising that they're going to take a verbal grievance, because this has gone on far too long, and I can document even written grievances December 9th. And instead what happens is everybody's avoiding me. I really would like to be safe. If I'm so not mentally well, I would love to be able to have advocacy that's addressing my concerns. My concerns and why I'm upset is I am allowed to be threatened and attacked, and I have no bathroom door that I have had to stare at in my tiny little unit since September 10th, where I chose, instead of defend myself, which is my instinct, Now, I said, fuck this. They're going to get me in trouble. I barricade myself in my bathroom door, and the dude rams it off the hinges. It's not okay. Nobody's safe. In March, when COVID started, one of the other tenants here, that dude had just got a pacemaker in like February, had 2 eye surgeries. You know what I mean? Like, dude's blind, old, major head trauma, not to be disrespectful, but he's got the intelligence and capacity of like a 4-year-old, not even 5. But I like the dude because he's kind and he doesn't mean any harm. He was coming up to my home because he's terrified. He can't sleep at night. He's got a meth head that just rages all the time. He can't see. He can't figure out his medications. Nobody's administering his medications, which at that point was eye drops every 2 hours, and the video, his eyeball looks like it's falling out of his head. I ended up contacting adult patient services because I had to call welfare check on him one day because he went missing and wasn't getting his meds, so I didn't know what's going on. You know what I mean? Like, he was coming and sleeping in my unit in the daytime because he's so freaked out. So I contacted adult patient services because in 1 week, 5 ER trips. Because he cannot get care, and I couldn't afford. I'm trying to deal with court. I can't afford to deal with and administer these for him. I would do it as a person, but I literally couldn't afford to do that, and I'm not qualified. Like, I'm really not qualified, and that's the worst part about it. Like, you know what I mean?
You have a lot of compassion, Aaron. That's
yeah, but see, here's
hearing.
what happens. I went to adult services, protective services.
Yeah.
They go looking for him, try to deal with it for a month. Can't find him. I tell him, I'm like, yo, he's not here. Housing authority needs to be notified. They contact my landlord, who tells adult protective services that he's at home, he doesn't want to engage, and that I'm harassing him. So adult protective services closes out my complaint for him. Oh, and LAPD had finally realized that I qualified because I'm disabled. So they closed out my complaint without ever talking to me. I followed up on that. Well, they jokingly again, they straight out told me that they're not going to file a grievance and complaint against the county. It's the same agency. I don't know what to do, but that man is registered at another nursing facility still, and that's how defrauded this system is. You have food being delivered to his doorstep 2 months later because they're defrauding program money and funding for no reason. There's a bed someone else could be in.
Let's stick with you, Aaron. So you said you want to be safe and you want to get some therapy. I want advocacy, and I need to be safe from your staff that's acting completely out of line, unethically, misinforming the courts, misidentifying themselves to me, and again, assured have zero reason to be engaged with my landlord. So that's my first step. Instead of me having been able to engage with you guys and had a calm, respectful, safe relationship and feeling like my concerns were being addressed, from December 4th till now, of Tate engaged with people that I have a civil action. They're trying to evict me and have been since October. That's not appropriate. So, Aaron, is that the main thing you want me to do, is to follow up with what Malik has been doing?
Well, honestly, if we could get some handle on that and to assure that, wait a minute, let's make sure that this is an ethical introduction, and that, like I told him, I didn't think that he did this to me intentionally from the jump. What I do believe happened is he got a little bit misinformation, got ahead of himself, and doesn't want to be accountable. I'm not trying to bust anybody. I want to be safe, and I want to have a relationship that is ethical and in my interests. It's really bad that I can document me providing Tate videos from the first time he gave me his contact, which was in the courtroom, of me getting assaulted, threatened, continuing. And even video of me getting threatened in front of him and him not doing his obligatory job, which I requested as a first reporter, and report and make sure there is some intervention.
It's a lot of months of craziness here. So I would love to be able to feel safe and engage with you. I feel like what has been done with Oppenheimer and Tate is beyond not acceptable. Him going into a courtroom telling someone that I am homeless when he is coming to my house, that's him defrauding the courts.
I can follow up on that. I will do that for you.
I appreciate that. I appreciate it. I would love to have I would like to, if we can get that solved, I would love to be able to feel like I've talked to Peter Davidson. Last time I talked to him was like February 4th, I believe, I believe it was February 4th. He called me back, and I told him, I was like, dude, this shit is so crazy up here. I'm just trying to get through this eviction and address this criminal situation because I want to be accountable. I'm scared that if I just leave here, that the case would have gone bad and I'd have some crazy warrant, which is proven pretty true. And that I had already talked to him. I was like, yo, I really want to just come back down there and deal with you, dude. Like, I trust you. I feel safe and respect you. Because I grew up in Scientology. My case history is bananas. It's a lot. And I feel very disadvantaged introducing the fact that, hey, I have aversions. I grew up in Scientology. I get sometimes I get some really, really upset reactive shit like I chose that. Or this is a belief system that I thought that's what I want to do. No, that's the ethics and group that I was raised in. So,
right.
You know what I mean? It's like ingrained stuff. And when my face was kicked in, I'm so much about that. I refused pain meds. They were testing me for being on PCP and stimulants constantly because they wouldn't understand why I was trying to talk with my jaw like Jello. And I was trying to talk because I'm raised that I never knew how to, I was raised like asking for help is not okay. Not okay. You're in trouble. And I had to feel, I have no support. I didn't have an emergency contact number. I wanted to make sure that I was cognate. I understood what was wrong so I could make a decision to make sure I was doing what was right so I would be safe. The only reason I started trying to reach out for help is because that was the best experience in my life, was waking up in that ICU and all that fucking pain. And them doctors waiting 2 weeks respectfully, not wanting to wire my mouth shut because there was the misunderstanding. They thought that I would refuse Novocaine. So my jaw was even wired shut without Novocaine because of my condition. I don't communicate well sometimes. And I couldn't communicate to them. I just didn't want to have dope in my system because of my religion, and also because police always presume the worst about me. So I had 2.5 hours surgery the first time that they tried to wire my jaw without even Novocaine. I need some help and advocacy as an autistic person that's been harmed and that's being taken advantage of.
I hear you. And I'm glad that you had a relationship with this Peter Davidson therapist. It sounds like he was somebody who really understood you.
He's someone that afforded me enough. I understand with your guys' that's what's scary with your guys' caseload and the fact that none of this funding went to go to programs that everybody's expecting. Everybody hears the word programs and they're presuming and implanting their idea that there's now going to be drug rehabs in every one of these houses, that there's going to be on-staff mental health, and they don't understand that no, these housing, we're HIPAA insulated from the landlord still. And there's no funding for people like your group, and all this is going out to these nonprofits that has no accountability, and everybody's too fucking sick and tired of the addict thieves that they've made sure that that's the only people anybody identifies with as homeless anymore. No one's talking about elderly. No one's talking about disabled that need help. That's it. It's literally, they're just building these things to bin us and disregard. No one wants any more to do with us. They're done with it. They threw enough money. Just that. And that's what I've received. I have messages from Mike Bonin. From Bonin. October. So this is why they started the eviction. October 7th, I have email. I can document him opening on his city email account videos of domestic violence. Not once. Repeated. Same unit. Me getting assaulted, me getting threatened. Kept promising me he was going to get me help and intervene. And the promise, the help and intervention has been LAWA to help make me disappear. I have messages. I have a YouTube account because I tried to document so that someone could know what happened because I'm clearly vanishing. Nothing's on record. Like, I tried to put a YouTube page and, like, I have only 13 subscribers. It's Mike. Mike's one of the people that stalks my email or my YouTube. And in it, all he does is taunt me, like, why couldn't you just accept the government's free money and da-da-da-da? How'd you like prison, you punk? If I could get my hands on you. The dumb piece of shit used an icon photo from inside his converted garage that he's been using for Zoom meetings now. Awesome. I have a bunch of idiots around here. For real. I have a high IQ. I have an IQ of 153. They met me. My mouth was atrophied. Didn't know I was cognate. Didn't decide to look at my case history. Didn't understand that I understand contracts. These contracts are very, very simple, very plain. Literally 7 pages, like super large text, basically repetitive to make sure that for these programs and for people like me to be safe, people from one agency can have no interest in the units to make sure that A, the programs are run true, because they're supposed to administer the programs or report to Hackley if I'm not taking the programs. And they're also supposed to make sure that I'm safe in a habitable environment and I'm not disadvantaged by my landlord. It's really bad that my landlord happens to own St. Joseph's and has since 2016. Because they also own Venice Family Clinic and have since 2010. Carol Sobel.
So let me ask you, Aaron, because I am going to have to, and I want to follow up, and I'm going to have to go.
For sure.
Which facility, which Venice Family community housing facility are you in? Is it the one in Venice?
So that's the thing. I'm not in a facility. I'm in an apartment building in Venice.
Is it?
They have 15 buildings.
Yeah. Well, so what's the address of the building?
200 Lincoln Boulevard.
200 Lincoln.
They call it, the name of it is called, I found out, is called 501 Lincoln.
501 Lincoln. Okay, I don't know that one, but okay.
Right.
But I am familiar with Venice Community Housing. But I think I'm going to start with Malik and see if I can understand how he got involved and what his involvement is with your landlord and this eviction. That sounds like the main thing.
The police is really scary to me. That he cannot identify who this cop was and why he's coming. He came at the beginning of COVID, knocks on my door. He's like, hey, it's COVID, just checking on you. And there's some dude in plain clothes with a necklace badge hanging out. And I'm like, yeah, what are you doing? He's like, so you're not taking our treatment plan that we discussed. I'm like, we've never discussed it. And he acknowledges on film that he breached HIPAA in court. We're not doing this. We have a grievance. What's going on? So I do appreciate your help. Thank you very much.
Okay. I will look into it.
Thank you. I do, honestly, you're amazing for having afforded me that amount of time and your professionalism, and this is why I'm able to talk like this. So thank you so much and have a good day.
You're welcome, Aaron.
Bye-bye.